I don't know where I want to start. Like, I am so frustrated with this country. And I don't think that I'm the only one. And to know that we have former law enforcement here, as someone who worked with law enforcement consistently as a practicing lawyer, I'm quite concerned. I'm alarmed by some of the things that you said, specifically, Mr. Speciale, am I saying it correctly? Okay. Mr. Speciale, you said, and I may quote you incorrectly, so correct me, you were warning your family about the possibility of the FBI busting into your home. Is that correct? Close enough?
Yes, because they were raiding American citizens all over the United States for trespass.
And you'd agree with me that that's, I mean...
No, I don't agree that you should use FBI tactical teams to raid people who are trespassing.
That's not what I was saying. I'm sorry, I was moving a little slow because I wanted to make sure I quoted this correctly. Are you aware that the FBI recently executed a search warrant at a Washington Post reporter's home?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, but you'd agree with me that doing something like that with the FBI sounds like what you were afraid of happening, and to be clear, that never happened to you, correct?
No, it didn't, but I was aware of the
hold
FBI
on.
investigation
It's my time.
for 2.5 years.
But you did not, so they never busted into your home. But you were concerned and you felt like that would be wrong. And so what I'm trying to understand is that there's a lot of complaints about the Ray FBI, and I won't opine on that, but I will make it clear, and Mr. Romano, help me out if I'm wrong, but was Mr. Ray appointed by Donald J. Trump himself? Mr. Christopher Wray, who was the FBI director. Okay, so he was appointed by Donald Trump, and right now, it's interesting because we sit here and we're talking about domestic terrorism, and every day there are Americans concerned about ICE and what ICE is doing. So let me ask you a different question that you may be familiar with. As it relates to the training that the average FBI officer gets before they are admitted as officers, is it longer than 47 days? Yes or no?
I don't think that I'm the person that you should be asking that question. I think that the retired FBI agent should be.
Anybody want to answer that who's been in law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am. The FBI Academy ranges anywhere from, it changes in length and duration. It can go from 12, 14, 16, it's up to 18, 20 weeks.
Okay,
at a time.
Thank you so much. So here it is. We have people, and I know that there have been conversations about political opponents. I believe it may have been you, Mr. Paiota, that you talked about political opponents being prosecuted. Let me ask you, Mr. Romano, though. Are you aware that this DOJ has gone after Jerome Powell, or is going after Jerome Powell?
I'm aware of reporting to that effect, yes.
Are you aware of this DOJ going after Tish James?
Yes.
Are you aware of this DOJ going after James Comey?
Yes, after the president tweeted that they should.
And are you also aware that James Comey is not currently being prosecuted? His case was dismissed.
I am.
Are you also aware that Tish James' case was dismissed?
Yes.
Are you also aware that a number of times that they tried to indict Tish James, they were unsuccessful?
I am.
Now, as a career prosecutor, how many times did you have to try to get people indicted before you could finally secure an indictment?
I never had the grand jury reject an indictment that I presented.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it seems like maybe they still need you there because they are struggling. In addition to that, I want to talk because like the conspiracy theories are driving me insane. And maybe it is because I'm used to the law, just being the law and practicing and getting into a courtroom. And maybe it's because I've been there. But I am so confused about how they're like, oh, these poor little people, they did nothing wrong. And that's why the president let them all out of prison. Let's talk about the process, okay? Because you can say that an investigation has been flawed, and Lord knows, as a criminal defense attorney, it was my job to make sure that I dug into every single flaw, because I can tell you in almost every single prosecution that I've had to go up against, the only thing I was looking at is how much did you mess up so that I could represent my client well, right? But it didn't mean that I would get them off. So I'm trying to figure out, did these people, over 1,000 people, get convicted of something that they did in a criminal way on January 6th, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so then you come back and they were convicted by what? A jury? Some of them?
Mostly juries, some judges.
And some people actually did what we call a plea bargain, correct?
Correct.
Meaning that they walked in and they said, I am guilty, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the final point that I'll make, because I know I'm running out of time, is there was some stuff about white supremacists and the concerns about people being alleged to be white supremacists. Some of the people that got convicted were neo-Nazis. Have they been clarified as white supremacists or not?
Yes.
Some of the people were Proud Boys. Have they been declared as white supremacists or not?
I believe so.
Okay, and then the Confederate flag, has that sometimes been associated with white supremacist groups?
I would certainly say it was during the Civil War and since.
Okay, and then there's this sign, I'm not gonna do it, but it looks like the okay sign with the hand gesture. Has that been associated with white supremacy?
Yes.
Okay, and as one of the prosecutors that prosecuted some of these cases, did you not have defendants that you felt like may have been white supremacists based on the investigations?
Yes, in some cases we had evidence explicitly of it.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about what we just watched, share, read here. Because this exchange is one of those moments where you can literally feel the room tighten up. This isn't a political debate vibe. This is courtroom energy. This is a lawyer who knows exactly how to walk people into their own statements, tighten the box around them, and then ask one clean question that makes the whole narrative collapse. And that's what makes this segment hit so hard. From the jump, the tone is not casual. It's emotional, yes. Frustrated, yes. But it's disciplined frustration. The speaker basically opens with, I'm not even sure where to start because I'm fed up. And that's relatable because a lot of people feel that right now. But then she immediately pivots into something sharper. She's not just mad at the country in a vague way. She's alarmed that people who used to wear badges and hold authority are casually pushing narratives that don't hold up under scrutiny. That's the key. Her frustration isn't random, it's aimed. Now let's get into the first big takedown, the FBI busting into my home claim. This witness is painting a picture like the FBI is out here running tactical raids on ordinary Americans for trespass. That's a loaded phrase. It's designed to create a mental image. Black vests, battering rams, kids crying, the state gone wild. And Crockett's response is exactly what a seasoned attorney does. She doesn't argue the vibes. She cross-examines the claim. Did that happen to you? That question is a needle, because suddenly we move from cinematic paranoia to plain reality. And when he admits it never happened, you can feel the air leave the balloon, because now it's not evidence, it's fear. And the way she handles it is slick. She brings up a search warrant served at a Washington Post reporter's home, whether the witness knew it or not, and then she uses it to show what government overreach can actually look like. But the main point isn't even the reporter. The main point is, you were spinning a story about something that didn't happen to you, but you wanted it to sound like it did. And that matters, because these kinds of claims get recycled into propaganda loops. Then she hits the second pressure point, the Wray FBI. People love to say the Wray FBI, like Christopher Wray, is some deep state operative planted by Democrats to persecute conservatives. And she doesn't even scream. She just asks one question that forces the timeline back into the conversation. Who appointed him? Donald Trump. That's it. That's the move. Because it doesn't automatically mean the FBI is perfect, but it does puncture the "this is all Democrats" storyline in one sentence. It forces people to deal with the fact that the leadership they're complaining about came out of their own political ecosystem. Now, another moment that really matters here, the 47 days training comparison. Even without full context, the tactic is clear. She's highlighting how professional federal training actually works. FBI training isn't some quick little course. It's measured in weeks, 12 to 20 weeks mentioned. What she's doing is telling the audience, stop acting like these systems are improvised chaos. There is structure. There are standards. And when people casually talk about raids, investigations, and federal procedures like it's just political theater, they are either ignorant or intentionally misleading. Then she pivots again, and this is where the clip becomes a full-on demolition job. The political opponents being prosecuted talking point, because that phrase gets thrown around constantly like it's automatically proof of corruption. So she says, okay, let's name names. Jerome Powell, Tish James, James Comey. She walks through what happened. Dismissals, unsuccessful attempts to indict, And then she asks the career prosecutor the most devastating question possible. How many times did you have to retry a grand jury before you got an indictment? And his answer is brutal. He never had a grand jury reject one. That's not just shade. It's a professional standard being placed beside political performance. Her implication is clear. If you keep striking out, maybe it's not persecution, maybe you just don't have the case. And then the real heart of it, January 6th. This is where she goes from cross-exam to moral clarity. She's basically saying, I'm losing my mind watching people do this thing where they pretend every convicted person was a harmless tourist who accidentally wandered into a crime scene. She acknowledges something important. This is where the lawyer brain shows up. Investigations can be flawed. Prosecutors mess up. Defense attorneys look for every flaw. That's literally the job. But then she drops the truth that wipes away the propaganda. Flawed investigation doesn't automatically mean innocence. It means you test the case. And this is what she forces the witness to say out loud. Over 1,000 people were convicted. Convictions came from juries and judges, and some defendants took plea deals, meaning they stood in court and admitted guilt. That's the thing the just trespass storyline can't survive. Because once you say plea bargain, you're not talking about political vibes. You're talking about a defendant agreeing, yes, I did it. And once you say jury convictions, you're talking about citizens sitting in a box, weighing evidence, and finding guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Again, you can critique the system and still be honest about what the system produced here. She's demanding honesty. And then she closes with the part that some people get uncomfortable with, but is absolutely central to her argument, the extremist thread. She does not let anyone do the, oh, stop calling everyone a white supremacist dodge. She doesn't call everyone that. She's very precise. Were some convicted people neo-Nazis? Yes. Proud Boys associated with white supremacy? I believe so. Confederate flag associated historically with white supremacist groups? Yes. And then the hand sign question. Again, she's forcing the witness to acknowledge that these symbols have been used and interpreted within extremist ecosystems. And in some cases, prosecutors had explicit evidence. Now, if you're watching this as a vlogger, if you're trying to break down why it lands, here's the secret sauce. She doesn't argue opinions, she argues admissions. She doesn't ask open-ended questions that let people run. She corrals them into yes-no answers, and she builds the narrative like stepping stones. Fear claim. Did it happen? Appointment claim. Who appointed? Persecution claim. What happened to those cases? January 6th. Innocent claim. Convictions, juries, pleas. Extremism claims specific groups, specific evidence. It's methodical, it's surgical. And I'll say this too, the emotion matters because it's not performative emotion. It's the frustration of someone watching the country get dragged by misinformation, while people with former law enforcement credibility sprinkle gasoline on it. That's why she keeps coming back to I'm confused, and the conspiracy theories are driving me insane. Because what she's really saying is, we are not going to survive if we keep treating facts like optional. So as a piece of content, this is strong because it's built for replay. It's built for clips. It's built for shorts. There are multiple mic drop beats. That never happened to you, Trump-appointed Ray. I never had a grand jury reject my indictment. Over 1,000 convictions, plea bargains, and the extremist admissions. It's not just commentary. It's structure. It's a narrative in the form of questions. And when she ends with, thank you so much, I'll yield, it doesn't feel like she's done talking. It feels like she just finished closing arguments and left the other side holding a script that no longer works. And that's really the bottom line here. You can argue politics all day, but you can't argue your way out of process. The fact that January 6th produced convictions from juries, judges, and even guilty pleas, while the loudest narratives are built on fear, insinuation, and conspiracy instead of verifiable reality. What you just saw was a methodical dismantling of the poor innocent trespassers myth, a reminder that even the Ray FBI talking point collapses when you remember who appointed him, and a blunt acknowledgement that extremist elements weren't imaginary. They showed up in real cases with real evidence. So if you're tired of the spin, tired of the gaslighting, and tired of people dodging the facts, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think accountability is finally catching up, or are we still stuck in the same denial loop? Like the video, subscribe for more breakdowns like this, and share it with someone who needs the receipts, because facts only matter if we're willing to defend them.